Okay, so some of you might have got your quad Cortex by now, and I think one of the things that people were interested in was having the plugins ported over. One of the plugins that I like the sound of is the Plini. Although it's not terribly obvious exactly what the models are, I did a little bit of research online. I've done this over the last kind of year or so, just trying to see what the actual models were based on roughly, and I think you can get some idea. There's this chap on Reddit who had some useful advice. I don't know what his sources are and stuff. I've asked Doug about this, but there's certain bits of information that I think he wants to protect the artist from, because they might have things that they wanted to keep sort of private, or you know, whatever their tricks are. But so this is based on what I think is going on roughly, and what the chaps on Reddit kind of pointed out. So let's start with the clean. So if you go into the Plini app, there's Simon Grove presets. Now this is the guy who actually produces quite a lot of the Plini stuff, if not all of it. And there's a crystal clean preset, which is what this first line is mostly doing. I think the Roland Jazz Chorus is that first clean amp on the Plini. And so these are the settings roughly that I've used, copied off of the plugin. Bright switch on, volume at 5, bass at 7, mids at 5, treble at 5, output there. The thing you'll notice about this signal path is there's no cab on for this, which is something that I noticed that a few of the guys were doing in some of the Plini stuff. And so for that modern kind of clean tone, which is really sparkly, consider just trying an amp with no speaker cab. As you add gain and stuff, it starts to not really work in the same way, but it's worth trying. This signal chain here is not actually on for the clean tone, so if we go here, I've got a clean, a lead and a rhythm that I've put together. So the third amp apparently in the Plini suite is some sort of PV 5150 or something. So anyway, what I decided to do was I'd have a rhythm tone on C, which is actually two 5150s. So I'm pretty sure that the pedal that he uses, because the settings are like this for one of the rhythm tones, is likely to be some sort of tube screamer. There's not really many other pedals where people run it in this kind of setup that I'm aware of. The actual amp settings that I've got, I copied off of there as well. So we got a bass at 6, mids at 4, master at 3, presence at 5, output here, and gain at about 5. You could play around with that. If you've got humbuckers, you may want to drop that gain down slightly. Obviously I'm playing with single coils, but I'm using the PV 5150 lead. I think that's what that's based on. And cab wise, I'm using the 4x12 traditional with V30s and just one 57. The settings for that were copied from the plugin. And then on this side, I got exactly the same cab, and also the Eddie Van Halen or EVH version of that similar sort of amp basically, but hopefully different enough that you kind of get a bit of stereo separation. There's the settings there, bass at 6, mids at 4. Neither of these amp models have a bright switch, whereas the lead channel of the Plini actually does, so it's not exactly the same models as far as I can tell, or maybe they've just got extra parameters. Also, the resonance is not on the plugin, but it is here for both amps. Or depth here, resonance depth, I think those are the same thing. Yeah, anyway, so I've got a gate at the start, and then this cab is panned hard left, and then this cab is panned hard right to give that stereo rhythm sound thing. For the lead preset, this channel then turns down, so we're only going through this signal chain now. Oh, also worth bearing in mind, so yeah, for the rhythm, I turn off the clean and the delay and the reverb, obviously. So then, for this particular tone, we have a gate going into a compressor. The dual, I noticed that he uses compressor on his lead tone, the Simon Grove suggestion is. Everything kind of at 5. Then I boosted this overdrive a bit, but I think he uses his down a bit lower than that. And then the settings are just all 5, basically on the actual lead channel, and then adjust gain as you like. I think these EQ settings are fairly important for the lead tone, so you want to pause the video and copy those, or actually I'll put this up on the cloud if people actually want it and comment that they want it. So yeah, those are the EQ settings, and then I tried to copy the tape delay settings. I think that's probably closest to what's going on, and a reverb. So quite a lot of guesswork, to be honest with you, but this is the kind of preset that I thought would get you somewhat in the ballpark if you want to try it on the app. And I guess there could be someone out there that's going to be able to do something similar for Nolly and stuff. So in the meantime, whilst we're waiting for the plugin capability, you could try and do this sort of thing if you wanted to. Maybe. I don't think any of the 4-tin amps are actually in here, so you probably won't be able to do those, except for you could figure out what those 4-tin amps are actually based on, because I think they're sort of clones-ish of other amps, or modified versions of other amps. Anyway, hopefully that was vaguely interesting to one or two people. Catch you in a bit. Oh, if you wanted to subscribe, you could. Maybe. I don't know. Cheers.